Oh, hello. Many times in my life I've been asked, why did you become a teacher? Well, that's a really good question. Well, actually, it's not a very good question because the answer is simple. I was told to be a teacher. I never thought of being a teacher. Growing up, I had lots of respect for teachers. They helped me a lot. But it's a lot of work being a teacher, a lot of responsibility, and a lot of students don't respect you. Why would I want that? Well, my junior year in college, so I'm about 21 years old, I'm trying to figure out what to do with my life. What kind of work am I going to do? The only thing I knew was I wanted to go overseas and I didn't want to wear a tie. I didn't want to be in an office. I wanted to go out and meet people. Well, I couldn't really find anything, and then one day I saw the brochure for the Peace Corps, and that looked really interesting. So I went to the Peace Corps office and I talked to them, and they gave me some ideas, and I filled out the application, and like this sounds really exciting. A couple months later, they said, "Brad, you should go teach. You should go teach carpentry in Cameroon." Cameroon? Where's that? Oh, that's in West Central Africa. Carpentry? Me? Well, if the government says I can teach and teach carpentry in Cameroon, then the government knows what's best. So I said, okay. The government does know what's best, right? Well, that's another story. um, anyway, so I went off to the Peace Corps. They gave me some training, and suddenly, lo and behold, I'm in a classroom with all these 8th and ninth grade students teaching them carpentry. And I'm like, okay, this is kind of weird for me. I never really taught carpentry before, and I really wasn't a qualified carpenter. But again, that's another story. What I discovered was I was teaching them more English than anything else. And I was getting them to explain things, to think, to use words they hadn't used before, to get them to put their words into action and get them to come up with new things. And it was great seeing them discover and learn and get all those metaphorical light bulbs going off over their head. It was joyous for me. I had so much fun. It was a lot of work. And I recalled my teachers from when I was young and all the work they did and how I didn't want to be like them. Suddenly I was like them. I was bringing work home. I was grading. I was doing all these things, coming up with new ideas and trying to think, how can I help that student? And it was just, I had a great time. Uh, I just fell in love with it because it was fun. It's kind of like an amusement park. When you're going up and down on the rides, there are good and bad moments. But when you get off, it's like, wow, that was worth it. I never really thought of that comparison before, but it's kind of true. So when I finished working in the Peace Corps, I went back to the United States and I got a master's degree in teaching English as a foreign language. And then I went off to Thailand where I taught English in universities for 8 years, and I also worked in different companies and organizations like hospitals, airlines, insurance companies, advertising companies. Oh, it was really exciting and fun. I was coming up with all these new lessons and activities and tests and all these things. I was getting all this fantastic experience designing and testing all these new things. Oh, wonderful, joyous, a lot of work, sometimes working 20 hours a day, or maybe more even. Then I started working in kindergarten to 12th grade schools, and I've been mostly there ever since. And I've just had so much fun working with students, seeing them at the beginning of the school year, taking them through to the end of the school year, seeing the new things that they discover and learn on their own, seeing how they've changed. Especially what I love about teaching English is seeing how the maturity of their thought, how their thinking processes change, and how they're able to communicate better. Teaching for me, again, it's a thrill. Seeing seeing a student go from one thing to another, that's a great thing. Being able to help others, and it's fun, like a ride in an amusement park. It's just, if you just stick with it, even if it gets a little scary sometimes, in the end, it's worth it. That's why I'm a teacher.